Former spokesperson for Doug Burgum's presidential campaign. Scott Bolden laughing at that one. NewsNation political contributor. Carla, former ambassador to Denmark and Greenland. And Joe Cunningham with us for the first time, former Democratic congressman from the great state of South Carolina, well represented on this show. That state is. Hello to you all.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. You satisfied with that response from Joe Biden?
I just want Joe Biden to go away like a former president.
So
and why talk about the Autopen when that plays directly into the Republicans' talking point?
Here's what I was trying to figure out today. I could sit here and say, you know what? All Joe Biden has to do is come out and talk and say whatever he wants, and it ends it, right? And so he came out and he talked, and it obviously doesn't end it. But I get to the question of why now? Why do you think he came out now for this?
Because I think that he is really concerned about the Republican narrative, about his presidency and his competence. He should have been talking about the 2005 DOJ memorandum that said the Autopen is effective and constitutional to use it. Donald Trump's used it. Every other president's used it. And why not talk about that to put it to bed, this Republican narrative? Donald Trump doesn't know whether Biden was all there or not. He just speaks in this hyperbole, and his MAGA supporters just eat it up. That make it true.
So I found it fascinating, Joe, that the one clemency that he signed by hand was his son, Hunter.
Yeah. I mean, it's a loser of an issue for Biden to be talking about. Sure. Anytime they roll him out to speak on this, it harkens back to the lack of credibility the Democratic Party has right now. And you know, I'm in South Carolina, so we have every presidential contender or wannabe contender coming through our state. And when I see folks come through, not rip the Band-Aid off on President Biden and the fact that he should not have run for re-election in the first place, and it should have been an open process, a democratic process, especially coming from a party that says save democracy.
That's old history, though. So,
but it all goes back to credibility, though. It may be old history, but you know you can talk about anything you want, but unless somebody is credible, and right now the Democratic Party doesn't have the credibility, it's because of those old issues, as you say.
They need that to move forward.
You give him any credit for coming to speak out on this? I mean, he had to answer the question at some point.
Wait, who, Biden?
Yeah.
I want more Joe Biden interviews. The Republicans want more every day. He needs to be on here with you tomorrow night, Blake, doing an interview.
I'd love to talk.
I mean, you sound like a
I want him out here. But, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that the more Joe Biden talks, the worse things get for the Democrats. But I think it's the same for Obama. I don't think they want to hear from Obama either.
You don't
they are
think so?
both yesterday's news and leftovers. They both did not do a good job for our economy. The people were worse off at the end of their presidencies. And I think it's time for new blood. But they keep beating these same dead horses and taking the 20% issues on big issues. The 20%, while we have the 80% on President Trump's team.
What about to Carla's point, Joe, of Barack Obama coming out and giving this advice?
Again, I have a lot of respect for former President Obama. I think he lost a little bit of credibility when he did not call for an open process after Biden stepped aside. And again, that goes back to the ethos of the Democratic Party and basically repairing that credibility.
Hold on, you're a Democrat and you're trashing your party right now. So what gives you the hope? What gives you the hope?
I'm being
not trashing.
No,
you're being up.
Listen, I would rather hurt them with the truth than comfort them with a lie. Okay. And I'm being honest and transparent, as I have been for the last number of years, on where the party needs to go. And it starts with being honest with American people.
But I think that the Biden staffers are going to have consequences because what they did, were they getting paid? They're doing investigations right now, and I think they're also investigating. I know this: Obama and Biden targeting Trump. And there's going to be consequences there too.
So to Joe's point,
it's a big deal. Bigger. It's 1,000 water days.
It's over. It doesn't really matter.
I want to ask you though about Joe's point, because here was the Hill, Scott. Mark Cuban, Democrats' only message is Trump sucks. Quote: Trump sucks. The sky is blue. Trump sucks. That's not the way to win. It's not because it's not about Trump. It's about the people of the United States of America and what's good for them. Is Mark Cuban right?
Mark Cuban is right, and Barack Obama's tough love message. I like that. Now it's got to manifest itself. Because here's the deal. Everyone knows what Donald Trump is and isn't, and everybody knows what he's done with this big, beautiful bill. But you still got to have a message. You still got to give people hope. And if they don't like Trump, whether it's MAGA or Trumpism, if you don't like Trump, they've got to have an alternative. And most people don't think right now they've got an alternative. The Democrats are in the 30s and 40s in most polling. You got to get out of that dump, come up with a message and a messenger.
To the other side of the aisle, Lance, as Democrats try to deal with this, Man, your party and Jeffrey Epstein and how all of that was handled now. I don't know if you saw the top of the show, but I was talking to Sean Spicer about it. The first 6 months of Trump, you could argue, was successful, exceptionally successful. I think a lot of Republicans would say. But then the last week, woof, with Ukraine, a totally different position. Yeah. Whether you support the decision or not, I'm not saying the decision was that. And then Jeffrey Epstein, it's not what the base thought it was going to get 8 days ago.
Well, I think if we're talking about Ukraine, the president committed to end the war. He didn't say he was going to end it on behalf of one side or the other. He said he was going to get the war over. I don't know that the base is like really upset. They just want to get the war done because they're tired of shoving.
I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out today and saying,
yeah, there's going to be folks who disagree with it, but I think the base understands the commitment is to end the war. That was the commitment. And just quit shoveling billions and billions of dollars over there. They're going to be buying, NATO's going to be buying our weapons. We're not just going to be handing them over, which I think was what everybody kind of wanted. They wanted to like help out Ukraine, not at our expense.
How do you address this, though? The base upset over the client list.
Oh.
Laura Trump came out today and basically said there could be, I'm paraphrasing, could be more coming from the admin going forward.
Look, I think it's been reported out today. They're exploring different options. I think clearly they're going to have to take some further steps on that. What that is, also to be within the confines of the law and what the Justice Department can put out there.
Yes, I do. I think Trump may be dealing with the intelligence community, and there may be, they may have activated some of those perps, and they're not able to reveal their names because they're actually working for the government. I'm not saying that it's a good idea. I'm just saying that the IC community holds a lot of power in the United States. The people on the left and the right, they want justice for these victims. They want to know who the perps were. And I think there's going to have to be some kind of disclosure to close this.
So how does this unwind from your side of the aisle to say, okay, we can move on now?
I think
because you're nowhere near that right now.
I think they'll find a way.
Well, the Democrats and the Republicans both want this disclosed. And I got to tell you, here's the but-for test. The only reason you wouldn't disclose and keep your word if you're in Trump world to all those MAGA supporters, the only reason you wouldn't do it is because Donald Trump's name is all over these files.
No, it's national security. That's not right. Don't do that.
You can do national security all you want, but Donald Trump and his FBI director and Bondi of DOJ all promised before they got in office that they would release these files. Now they've looked at the files, and the only reason you wouldn't do it to satisfy your base.
You're an attorney by trade.
No, I know,
you don't actually
but you would
the only reason.
When it all comes down to it, it would be the only reason you wouldn't release it.
I mean, look, Epstein's been leveraged for political reasons for a while, and it's been used to get the base, Republican base, all hungry.
Yeah.
And they want to be fed.
Full of conspiracy.
And they're hungry, and they're going to eat something. So, I mean, now they're eating each other. I mean, as you look at this wedge that's being driven between them. So,
well, that's the question.
It's not going to be the end-all, be-all, obviously, but
it will be
an unnecessary self-inflicted wound.
And there's moral indignation by the people of the United States about this.
All right, I got to move on. I know we can talk about it all night.
And another thing.
And another thing. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Still